This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, 5 October 2009, and this is episode 626, the Stitch episode of Walt Disney World Today. I am your guest host, Len Testa of TouringPlans.com and the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, and with me, as always, is Mike Newell of MouseWorldRadio.com. Mike, I have a question for you.
Go ahead, sir.
It's about social injustice.
Uh-oh.
Why is it that David Lee Roth is considered a Hair Nation band on Sirius and XM, yet Van Halen is considered a Boneyard artist on XM and Sirius? Why, Mike? Why?
Well, I think previous Van Halen, when he actually had hair, and now not so much.
And Mike, I'm going to miss you when you're no longer on the show. So going, my palms are sweaty that you even said that. Also with me, as always, just back from the Food and Wine Festival, is Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. How's it going, Matt?
Good, Len. You know, you should, just for future reference, Mike doesn't like to be called on first. It makes him nervous.
It does.
Does it really?
It does.
It does. He doesn't like being called on first.
When I guest host episode 1252.
Yeah, keep it in mind.
I'll remember that.
Jot it down.
Also on the show is Annette Owens, Manager of Customer Relations and Group Services for MEI Mouse Fan Travel. How's it going, Annette?
Hey, great. And I have to say, perfect Stitch episode for you to host. Perfect.
I know. Isn't it completely wrong? Small children should be screaming everywhere listening to the podcast.
Oh, they
All
are.
right, now we're on to our guest stars. Our first guest star is Deb Coma, Senior Editor of All Ears Net. How's it going,
Hello.
Deb?
It's going very well. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yay. When was the last time you were on? It's been a while.
It has been. It's been a couple months at least.
Too long.
Oh, thank
We'll
you.
We'll have a net
it
show
has
you
been
on.
too long.
We'll have a net show you around the studio while you're waiting.
Okay.
And our special guest star tonight is Becky Menken, owner and proprietor of MEI Mouse Fan Travel. How's it going, Becky?
Really good. It's great to be here, Len.
Awesome. I'm exhausted just from doing the introduction.
I can
Okay,
tell.
that's
I
it for
can
us
So now
tell.
the show's over.
I'm sweating. I can't believe that, Matt. How you do this? It's like guest hosting for Johnny Carson.
You got to do calisthenics before the episode.
Calisthenics?
Calisthenics.
Calisthenics?
What is calisthenics?
Is that a Japanese exercise? What's it?
It's a combination of calisthenic and aesthetic.
It's a good-looking calisthenic. It's a calisthenic. So it must be. Anyway, on tonight's show, we're talking about the Food and Wine Festival, which happens this year in Epcot, and I believe it just kicked off
September 25th.
Yeah, last weekend. Excellent. And Deb and Becky, you've gone to it, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Was there
it was-
for opening day.
Yay! So how was it?
Becky?
Well, for me, it was my very first time at Food and Wine Festival, so it was fantastic.
You've never been to Food and Wine?
I had never been to Food and Wine. I'd been there during the times, but didn't go to Epcot and take the time to go to the kiosks, and of course, did the party for the first time. And so, yeah, it was really exciting and had a great time. And I need to go back.
So what'd you think of all of the booths and the variety of the food?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Found some favorites. If I could just go to Ireland, the Cork Ireland kiosk, and sit there and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think I would be very happy. I loved that one.
What's at the Ireland kiosk?
Ireland had a fantastic lobster scallop fisherman's pie. That at first I was thinking, these tastes aren't really going to go together very well, but it was fantastic. And it had,
Lobster, scallops, and pie.
Fisherman's pie. So the mashed potatoes and the sauce and lobster and scallops was wonderful.
Sounds like something that Fred Hazelton would love, Len. Because he likes seafood.
Because he's Canadian, I was going to go.
That too.
but your reason probably works too.
But I think the thing that kept me there was the lava cake. I had a chocolate lava cake that was awesome.
Is lava cake Irish? I didn't know that. Although there was,
it is now.
There was one at Raglan Road. I was going to say Nine Fighting Irishmen, but that's in Las Vegas.
Hey Becky, you've obviously been to Walt Disney World many, many times. How come this is only your first? How come you never were able to make it out to Food and Wine before?
The funny part is I was kind of looking back on my calendar, and I've been down there during events. So either we're working events or have been in other parks. I never had the opportunity to really concentrate or spend the time to go to each of the kiosks, because to really do the Food and Wine Festival, you need to spend the time and really concentrate and go visit each one and decide on what's sweet and what's savory you're going to take in for the day. So I just hadn't had the time, and I'm really glad I did this time.
And Deb Coma, you've been there before, right?
Yes, I think this was maybe my 8th or 9th year.
Wow.
Wow.
Of
She's a
going.
veteran.
Yeah, yes. As my expanding waistline proves, it's definitely been going to too many food and wine festivals, but it
What was
was
the,
really very good.
What was the first thing that you did when you got there?
The first thing I did was walk around the food booths. Actually, no, I take that back. The first thing I did was a little wine seminar that they had featuring Gary Vaynerchuk, who has a video blog called Wine Library TV. And it was sort of an impromptu kind of thing that had been announced via Twitter that I found about. It was a free little wine seminar they had in the Odyssey. So I did that, and that was very good. Then I went and hit the food booths around World Showcase.
What was the first food booth that you hit?
Believe it or not, Cork, Ireland, the Fisherman's Pie.
Great
Really?
minds, great minds.
Yes, and it was very good. It was one of my favorites that I had throughout the weekend. But I have to say, having been so many years, I felt that the food quality at the food booths this year was much better. Definitely improved over the last few years.
Really?
Yes, I thought everything I had, and I tasted it all different times of day over the course of several days, and things were consistently prepared well. And the only thing that I didn't like was just something that I personally didn't care for the taste of. It's not because it was undercooked or overcooked or anything like that. It was just I didn't care for it.
What was it?
It was the chicken urumqi at the Shanghai booth, I believe. It's sort of like a pulled chicken with cumin and some spices, and I just didn't care for it. But I was just going to say that the food quality, last year I remember sometimes I would go and things would be practically raw because they'd be so rushed and they wouldn't be cooking them properly. Or things would be dried out because they'd been sitting there for so long. And I didn't encounter any of that this year.
Did anyone have the red snapper and Barcelona? That I found was the best thing they had over there.
No, I didn't.
I never had red snapper before, and I gave it a shot, and it was phenomenal. Best thing I had in all the booths.
Oh,
Really?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to the lamb chop at the Australia?
I did have
booth?
that. Yes.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite. It was
That was
really
well prepared.
They did lamb last year as well, and I thought it was pretty good actually. Like, normally lamb can be kind of gamey,
Yeah.
but that was almost like a steak flavor to it.
It was.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did anybody try the Cabernet short ribs and mashed potatoes at France?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
Short ribs.
Yeah, but the funny part is you would think short ribs prepared a certain way and it would come with short ribs and potatoes on the side,
Yeah.
but the short ribs were actually rolled inside of the mashed potatoes.
That's a trend, isn't it?
It was a really interesting presentation, but I found it really good.
Yeah,
I've
no,
seen
I
a-
liked it.
I've seen a couple of things on Food Network where people are using potatoes as breading. Either like a hash brown or as like a mashed potato dusting.
Yes.
And then frying. So is that how it was prepared?
Yeah, pretty much. It was rolled inside. So think of it as kind of like a how they prepare pot roast now, where they kind of have the bed of mashed potatoes underneath,
Right.
and the meat kind of in the center. That's kind of how it was. However, the mashed potatoes were rolled over it, so you kind of had to dig in for the meat. And it was really, really, really tasty.
And were the mashed potatoes fried, baked, broiled, poached,
Baked, mashed, baked.
mashed,
Yeah.
and then baked?
Yeah, baked and mashed. They were good. Put it that way. They were really good. But you're
Yes.
talking about things that you really didn't like. There were a couple things that didn't quite hit as well. Over in China, the beef pancake. Anybody
Beef
do that?
pancake. What is that?
Yes, it was literally.
They didn't
a
have it last year.
pancake- A pancake of something, and it's kind of thrown in a square slab on a paper plate, and it's dry, and it's literally a pancake with beef inside, and it
So
really
it's-
was not very appetizing.
It's like an Aunt Jemima pancake recipe, but with beef in it.
Kind of.
No need for the maple syrup, huh?
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
just.
I'm
it was-
kind of glad I missed that.
Was it like a crepe? Because crepes you can do savory.
No, it was it was thicker than a crepe. it was definitely the consistency of a pancake, but of course more from potato than pancake mix.
Oh, really?
But-
So
but
the
it
starch was potato, not flour.
I think so. We really
Ooh.
couldn't tell. It was very, very dry
Yeah.
and
No,
not
when-
appetizing. It
when
didn't
you-
look good either. So it was one of those things that I just not really worth standing in line for.
I'm shocked. Not good food in China. How about that?
At least they're consistent, right, Len?
Yeah, really. Eh? How about that? What were some of the other highlights? I know last year we actually ate around every booth and what was the country last year that did? It was like the bacon. Everything was wrapped in bacon. What was it?
Oh my. I don't remember that.
We have to go back and look at the
I
previous
will say,
episode.
Newell, I have some feedback from Mike Newell on Food and Wine Festival. Mike?
Yeah.
I would say that Food and Wine Festival is much more enjoyable when Hannah is not picking out what you're eating.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna pick snails, and I choose you to eat them. Thank you. Thank
The
you. Hannah.
escargot are good, I have to say.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. You should try them. Last year in France, right? We had escargot and then wine, right? That was you and me.
That's right, yes.
It was like, have some snails.
I found myself making deals with her in World Showcase. Like, no, you have Matt eat this, and then I'll eat something else. But I'm not doing this.
Did Canada have its usual cheddar cheese soup?
Yes.
Yes, it had its usual
Salmon.
cheddar cheese soup, the salmon, yes, and maple
And the-
candy.
The 3 little maple candies for $3 or whatever it was sitting on the plate, which were good. But personally, I would much prefer to walk in and get the little thing of maple syrup and down it because it was the exact same taste. But the cheddar cheese soup, however, it was like 97 degrees outside and 200% humidity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
It was,
In fact, there were a couple booths that had soup, and I thought, this is just not soup weather.
Well,
I'm sorry.
it's October, but if you look at the weather this week, it's supposed to be 94 in Orlando today.
It was
it's
way
been
too
very
hot.
warm.
It's
Yes.
it's probably too much for soup. I mean, we figure October the weather would break and everything, but that's interesting. What about the wines? Did you guys have any really good wines while you're out there?
My dad, I went there with my parents, and my dad had a wine in Rio de Janeiro, a Pinot Noir, which he went and actually bought 2 bottles of. That's how good it was.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a reason to go to the Olympics.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't even that expensive. It was like a $15 bottle of wine. I'm like, good job finding the cheapest bottle of wine that they sell at Disney World.
$15.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was a Pinot Noir, Miolo, M-I-O-L-O.
Miolo.
Yolo.
Yes.
And it was he really liked it. He said it was fruity yet light, and he liked it quite a bit.
I didn't try that at the food booth. I had a chance to try it at the Party for the Senses. They were pouring there, and I had it there. It was good.
Yeah, Becky, you also went to Party for the Senses, didn't you?
yes, I certainly did. That
And
was
how was
great.
that?
That was fantastic. At first, I'd heard a lot of people talk about having to go to the Party for the Senses, and looking at the price tag, I've always kind of shied away from the thought, but went for the first time, and it was definitely worth the price of admission. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and apparently they were doing something new this year. And Deb, tell me if I'm wrong here, but this year they are doing themes at every party.
Right.
So the one we were at was the Spanish cuisine theming,
Ooh,
and
tapas.
a lot of tapas, a lot of paella. The paella was wonderful.
Seafood.
Yes. Octopus and a lot of seafood. And they also did a lot of Spanish ham, that Serrano ham, manchego cheese. So not all of the dishes were Spanish, but a lot of them had a Spanish flair to them.
Right.
Who said they liked the lamb chop, by the way?
I did.
Me.
Len.
I did.
Oh, I liked it too.
You guys I didn't like it that much.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Really?
I think mine might have been a little overcooked, but I'm not sure. Then again, I don't eat that much lamb, but I thought it was a little tough.
Mine was perfect.
I'm okay with tough. It's just normally it's gamey. So you mentioned the octopus. That's interesting because I've been eating more octopus lately.
Oh, really? Have you?
Like, don't, yeah, you just,
I've even like swimming with sperm whales or something.
yeah. It's just,
You know, Len, if I have octopus once a day or once a year, that's more than I would normally have. So
yeah, I don't know. I got on an octopus sushi kick a couple weeks ago, and I've had it 3 or 4 times.
What does it
in the
taste
last
like?
couple- It's a little bit gummy. I mean, it tastes like clam actually. If you think about it, it's got sort of the firmer consistency than fish,
Uh-huh.
and it's but it's not rubbery like you would think it would be. It's got roughly the consistency of a like a giant clam or a conch, and but really really non-fishy sort of, but yet you definitely know seafood, but it doesn't taste like fish. And it's got a really nice consistency to it. It's very good. Interesting.
Yes. One thing that I would really suggest to do for first timers like me who are trying to juggle things like your credit card and your money and whatever you're holding in your hands, they were selling those wristband gift cards that I'm not sure if they have done those in years prior, but you put the gift card around your wrist and then it's so easy to just go up to the kiosk and swipe it. It's a good thing because you're not juggling, a bad thing because you're spending money faster than you're keeping track of. But it was a great little accessory. So anybody who's going, I highly recommend those.
I saw those at the Festival Center at the Wonders of Life Pavilion. So you definitely pick one up over there on your way in.
Yeah.
Speaking of cost, is the dining plan accepted for anything in Food and Wine?
Yeah, for most of the samples around the World Showcase at
Count
the food
as
booths.
snacks?
Count as a snack. Yeah.
Excellent. Can you combine them to get a counter service meal?
I don't know. They didn't say anything about that, but they do have the little symbol next to all of the
Excellent.
items that are obviously not the wine, but all of the food items.
Did either of you see any of the musical acts that were there for the Eat to the Beat concert series?
I did. I got to see the Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
I heard they were very good.
They were amazing. They really were. With their zoot suits and their kind of big band sound and very energetic and just really a good vibe. I really enjoyed them. They were good.
I thought they actually had some better acts this year. Becky, were you able to see one?
I didn't get to see them, but I did take a look at the acts that are coming up, which there's a lot of really, really good names coming up.
Yes.
Like who?
Well, okay, this is going to totally and completely date me here, but I like him anyway. Richard Marx, Starship. I know, I can't help it.
Built this city.
John Waite. John Waite's going to be there when I'm back again. I come back that weekend, so I'm going to.
I'm down there that weekend also, and I'm excited to see John Waite also.
You and I need to go to see John Waite.
I would love to.
I'm scared by all of this conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Billy Ocean, John Cicada, I think, was on it too. Cool in the Gang. There we go.
Oh, cool.
There's a whole bunch of people listening right now going, who in the heck are these people?
I'm surprised that Taylor Hicks is going to be there this year.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Why?
I guess
I thought he was on tour with Grease.
Yeah. Yeah,
It is the work,
It's a weekend off. I mean, gee.
Yeah, not surprised.
And finally, Deb, you mentioned something about tequila tasting.
Yes, I did. This is something new they're doing this year. They've opened up a tequila bar in the Mexico Pavilion.
God bless
It's
them. Mexico.
have you seen it? It's really very well done.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's when you go down the ramp into the Mexico Pavilion, it's on your right. I think it used to be a jewelry store. And the decor is just lovely, and it just really has that. I mean, La Cava is obviously the cave, and it has sort of that cave type of feeling. It's dark and dimly lit, and just beautiful decor. And the bar is on your left, and then there's seats off to your right, where normally they would be doing tapas, but that's where they're having the tasting for the tequila. They do it, I guess, 3:00 every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the festival.
Was it worth it?
Yes, I really thought it was. It was $35, and you get 3 very, very small tastes of tequila, but that's plenty because it's like fire water.
It's plenty, you say.
Breakfast for you, Len.
Yeah, it really is.
Well,
That's what we call it. Pick me up. It's my
I admit to not being a tequila expert. And that's partially why I wanted to try, to see. But they go through the whole thing with, swirling it in the glass and getting the aroma and smelling it with cinnamon and smelling it with coffee beans. And then you do a little taste by each one by itself. And then they bring you some food. They bring you some ceviche and some tostadas. And then you sample it with food. And, get the nuances. And it was actually very good. The biggest complaint I had about that, though, is that because they still keep the bar open while the tasting's going on, you're hearing all of that noise from the people at the bar. And it made it a little difficult to hear the presenter because her microphone was not the greatest and had a lot of feedback. And she also had a very heavy accent. So that was not the best. But the way it was presented was very nice and very educational for me. And like I said, stay away from the Blanco tequila. Ooh, my goodness.
Blanco. What were the other tequilas you tried?
They talked about the 3 different types and it's the how long they're aged actually. The most aged one we had was a brand called Don Julio, and that was very smooth and almost golden in color. That would be the one I would say if you're going to drink tequila straight. Why I don't know you would do that, but it was good. It was really good. I thought it was a good new experience.
I'm excited. May have to come down for a weekend for that then, and have an extra liver actually on ice. I travel with for that, so that's excellent.
I would suggest you bring that then.
Excellent. It's carry on now, so I just put it in the satchel when we go.
I did want to add something when we were talking about the Party for the Senses. They're doing something new this year called the Wine View Lounge. And if you have been going to the Party for the Senses or the Food and Wine Festival over the years, you know that one of the biggest issues with the party is that there's limited seating. And so there's always a big crush of people when the thing first opens. Everybody's scurrying around trying to get a seat because they have a few big tables, regular tables, and then they have a lot of cocktail tables, but still it's not enough for everybody to have their own space. So this year they've introduced the Wine View Lounge for an additional $75. You are guaranteed a seat in a little...
What? $75?
Yes, it is. It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
And you're in a little fenced off area and you have your own guaranteed table. You have access to, yes, a premium bar.
It's fenced off so people know where to point and laugh. Go ahead.
Becky will be able to tell you about that. But yes, you have access to a premium bar, which means, if you wanted mixed drinks or liqueurs for your coffee or something like that. And they have their own separate cheese table in there, but you still get to go out and go to the various stations and get your wine and get your samples. But they have guards posted at the entrance so that, they make sure only the people who belong in the Wine View Lounge get in. So,
and with the special little gold wristband, wasn't it? It was like a gold or...
You get a special wristband and you also had a special button.
Right.
And I actually sat in there this year, and I'm still trying to decide. I think if you really, really want a table, you don't like the idea of having to sort of float, and look for a corner of a table to rest on, it's probably worth it.
Well, see, I would agree with that, Deb, because obviously when I walked up and I saw you in there, I was on the outside of the bars looking in.
Yes. Yeah, it was a little comical.
And the folks that I was there with, all of us were walking from station to station. And each time you get handfuls of food, you're trying to find a place to set it down. And it was difficult trying to find a table or a corner of a table or a corner that you could set things down on. So just to have that reserved spot that you didn't have to worry about and waste the time trying to search for a table, I think that might be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Or TV trays. You could bring a TV tray along.
That's very true.
And sit it down. That's an idea. Well, that about does it for us on this episode. I'd like to thank our guests, Becky Mankin and Deb Coma of AllEarsNet, as well as Mike Newell, Annette Owens, and Matt Hochberg. Scope is off doing something stupid. I don't know what he's doing. I'm Len Testa. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.